What's going on, you guys? It's Scott from Fly Rides. We are back again today with yet another eMTB review. Man, these eMTB reviews are just coming hot and fast because it is that time of year. All the 2021s are coming into our shop. So we're giving you the reviews so you can check out which one you might be buying. Today, we are checking out the Cube Stereo Hybrid 160 C62 SLT. No, that is not a Star Wars character, nor is it a keytar or a synthesizer. That is the top-of-the-line, fully electronic enduro bike from Cube Stereo Hybrid's 160 series. Those of you already familiar with the Cube Stereo Hybrid series might be thinking, wait a minute, what about the Actionteam? Isn't that the top-of-the-line bike? Why do I even need to bother with this bike? Well, in this video, we are going to talk about why you might choose the C60 SLT over the Actionteam, and whether its fully electronic drivetrain and dropper seat post, Fox 38 float factory fork with a Grip 2 damper, and also its fully carbon chassis, including that rear triangle, are worth the upgrade. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the Fly Rides electric bike channel so that you can stay up to date on everything going on in the eMTB industry. Like I said, all the 2021 bikes are coming in now. Summer is coming up. I mean, in the way that summer is always kind of coming up. It's a little bit away, but you want to have something to ride for the spring and summer when it thaws out. So make sure to subscribe to our channel so you can see which 2021 bike that you should be buying. Now that we've all subscribed to the channel, I'm sure, let's check out the Cube Stereo Hybrid 160 C62 SLT. First things first, let's talk about specs, baby.
Let's talk about specs, baby.
Starting off with that previously mentioned fully electronic drivetrain. I love an electronic drivetrain. It is just one of the most fun things to ride in the world because you don't have to worry about that mechanical shifting going out of tune. You have got the SRAM X01 Eagle axis derailleur on this. Again, that is electronic, which means that you are going to have the most precise and quick shifting on the market. That is on a 10 to 52 tooth cassette in the back, and in the front you have a 36 tooth chainring. Now that cassette is the SRAM XG Eagle. It really does not get better than this cassette. It's got that nice rainbow coating on it, but more importantly, it offers a ton of climbing capability and is really just a top-of-the-line drivetrain. As someone who has mostly ridden Shimano's Di2 shifting, I was definitely interested to see if the SRAM axis shifting held up, and I gotta tell you, it definitely did. I was pretty blown away by this electronic drivetrain. This drivetrain partners with the industry favorite, the BOSCH Performance CX Generation 4 motor with 85 Nm of torque and a 625 watt-hour batteries, but that's exactly what you would expect on a bike of this level. So no major surprises there, but the group set is rounded off very nicely with a MAGURA MT7 4-piston hydraulic disc brake, front and rear on 203mm rotors, front and rear as well. These are hands down my favorite brakes. They have been for quite some time, and I am glad to see them on a top-of-the-line bike like this. The suspension is set up on a 4-point linkage system with Cube's agile trail geometry. In the front, you are getting 170mm of travel from a Fox 38 float factory fork with a Grip 2 damper. In the back, you are getting a Fox Float DPX2 with 160mm of travel. These both are Kashima coated. That agile trail geometry has you set up with a 65-degree head tube angle and a 75.5-degree seat tube angle, along with 441.5mm chain stays. This should allow for some excellent enduro riding, but also keep it pretty playful on single track and into berms. Another standout spec on this bike is the electronic dropper seat post, which we talked about previously. That is the ROCKSHOX REVERB Access. In my opinion, these electronic droppers are more responsive and more reliable than a mechanic or a hydraulic dropper. I have always had better success with an electronic one, and it's really nice to see it on this bike. For the tire setup, you are getting a Magic Mary in the front and a Big Betty in the back. Those are going to be 2.4 inches wide on a 27.5-inch wheel set. You are getting all these components on a bike that is
$11,999.
and it weighs 23.5 kilograms, which is a pretty decent weight saving off of the rest of the Cube Stereo Hybrid 160 series. So we had Austin take this bike out because he was the one who rode the Actionteam, so we definitely wanted to get his 2 cents on how the Cube Stereo Hybrid 160 C62 SLT measured up against that Actionteam. I'll be weighing in from time to time as well to help you guys figure out whether or not you think it is worth that $3,000 price increase in comparison to the Cube Stereo Hybrid Actionteam. Let's check it out.
Put the bike, suspension, tires, everything to the test. Got Hero Dirt, wireless drivetrain, MAGURA MT7 brakes. You love it. Had to turn the bike off there real quick. Woo! Oh my gosh, these tires are gripping everything. Throw it over that. Let's go slow and pop it off these jumps. Now we're gonna send it to the moon off the big booter. Let's do it. Woo! Oh man! Ha ha! Scrub that. This bike just feels so playful, and the suspension is eating it up into the drop. And now this corner, pop out of it into the next berm. Woo, these tires just grip to the ground so well. Pop out of this berm. Ooh, a little deep there. Scrub this. Love these two corners. Woo. Real great example of how well this fork pops out of the corners. So responsive. The big difference between this bike over the Actionteam on the front end of the bike is on the Fox 38, you get the Grip 2 damper on the C62 SLT, and it gives you a high level of customization to the front fork. So you get high and low speed rebound and high and low speed compression. On the rebound side of things, for my style of riding, I always set the high speed rebound to be on the lower side so that when I land on big jumps and big drops, I don't get popped out of them. And then I also have the low speed rebound set a little bit higher so that when I push through berms, I can pop out of them a little bit more playful. So it really gives you that level of customization. So for bigger hits, I can tune down the rebound. For smaller, poppier things, I can have a little bit more spring and fun playfulness in the front fork. Alrighty, let's put that Grip 2 damper to the test and send it off this drop. Oh, woohoo! Oh, we'll hit one more drop. Let's go off this side. Not a bad little drop. You got the double drop line right there.
Yeah, I don't throw this term around lightly, but this C62 is the Mac Daddy.
As I said earlier, the Mac Daddy.
That's not a term we use for most bikes. This bike is unbelievable, man.
Yeah, fundamentally it's similar to the Actionteam, but the small differences like in the Grip 2 damper, specifically that, make a huge difference to how the bike feels down the trail. Also, no complaints that wireless axis shifting, snappy on the dime, instantaneous.
Move it. So in comparison to the Cube Stereo Hybrid Actionteam, I think it's pretty clear there are some significant upgrades. Think a Fox 38 float factory with Kashima coating can't get any better? Try it with a Grip 2 damper. Think you can't get better than Shimano Dior XT shifting? Well, why don't you try out the SRAM X01 axis shifting? So there's definitely places where there have been significant upgrades made. I pretty much always think electronic components are worth the upgrade. But that really shouldn't come as a surprise to you, considering that I review electric bikes for a living. Of course, I'm going to take any electronic upgrade over its mechanical counterpart. The question for you, since you're the one paying for it, is whether or not it's worth that $3,000 upgrade. The Cube Stereo Hybrid is going to run you $79.99, whereas this SLT is going to run you $11,999. There's no doubt that this is a pretty hard question to answer, especially if you've never ridden electronic components before, or you just want to make sure that these specific electronic components work as well as you want them to. Maybe the better approach is not to compare it to the Actionteam, but to compare it to other bikes from other companies who also offer electronic components. For instance, the S-Works Turbo Levo has a lot of the same components as the Cube Stereo Hybrid 160 C62 SLT, but it's going to run you $14,000. Similarly, if you look at the 2021 Trek Rail 9.9 X01 Access, it is the exact same derailleur on here, along with the ROCKSHOX REVERB Access, and I think a fork that isn't quite to the level that a Fox 38 Float Factory is, and you are going to be paying $12,499. So again, value-wise, this Cube offers a ton of value. So if you're looking between top-of-the-line electric mountain bikes that have electronic components, there's no question that the Cube offers the best value. I still have no idea how Cube does the pricing they do, because it seems like every year when you compare their bikes to bikes from other brands that have the same or similar components, they are always like $2,000 to $3,000 cheaper for the top-of-the-line stuff. Pretty crazy. I don't know how they do it, but they keep doing it. So that is definitely a reason to check out the C62 SLT over other bikes with electronic components, in my opinion. The decision between an Actionteam and an SLT, all I'll say about that is I think you probably know whether or not you really want electronic components. For my money, they always live up to the hype. If it's a high-end brand like Shimano or SRAM that is offering electronic components, you are probably going to be very pleased with it. So if you're someone who's interested in trying out those electronic components, definitely ride the bike and test ride it if you can, but I definitely don't think you'll be disappointed with them in the long run. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Fly Rides Electric Bike channel, you guys. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of the Cube Stereo Hybrid 160 C62 SLT. If you've got questions about this bike, leave them in the comments below. And if you've still got questions about Cube as a brand, I would definitely check out our Stereo Hybrid 160 versus 140 video and our other Cube reviews. Thanks for watching, you guys, and until next time, enjoy the ride.